Parent, good position, eh?
Let's go to the camera.
Yeah, that's because I had a passenger that was like 18. My mom put me on her car insurance and then
Yeah, that's how I got my
and then when I bought my I'm trying to tell you just for a good price. So what do you think you get? You get me for 185? Suzuki. So I get my 185 for. Not sure I can
With 2 years on, we buy any
Just in case of I have to back
like
check
this.
No, I'll buy a next one. Wait a minute, I'll buy a new one in 2 years. So yeah, that's that.
Go on inside, go on the white.
Please help me on that day. Power, power.
People gather round. I want you listen well to set your spirits free. I have this tale to tell. Hear the grumbling of the drums, feel its mystic sound as it elevates you now to a higher ground. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Rhythm to shake the living, rhythm to raise the dead, rhythm to purge the pain from your heart, rhythm to make you laugh, rhythm to make the soul of a people dance, rhythm to make the soul of a people dance. People hear the call, a call for unity. Together none will fall. Let's share for destiny.
Live on CNC3 and Sports Max, we welcome you to the Larry Gomes Stadium in Arima for a matchup against two secondary schools that show they have the pedigree to match up and beat any school with college at the end of their name. Sour North Secondary School, winners of the East Zone, against Signal Hill East Secondary, winners of the Tobago Zone Intercol. This is the National Intercol semi-final. My name is Hans Devines and welcome to it. A stunning encounter we expect today. Let's look at the weather conditions that these young men will play under. Temperature is 31 degrees Celsius, humidity at 60%. It's mostly cloudy and a 1 in 10 chance of rain. So far, most of the teams have been eliminated and we're down to the top 4 inside the Coca-Cola National Intercol. Today, Sour North Secondary play against Signal Hill of Tobago, and tomorrow's semi-final we bring you Naparima College, winners of the South Zone, against winners of the North, St. Anthony's College. Brent Sancho joins me pitchside. Brent, what are your thoughts on today?
Well, of course, the music of Ella Andel in the background, spirited music, and that epitomizes both teams, unheralded, rootsy teams that in the conversation when it comes to winning the National Intercol Finals would not have been part of that discussion. But we're only 90 minutes away plus to see one of these two unheralded teams in the National Intercol Final.
Now, speaking of Intercol Finals, the girls' semi-final is actually in the background right now, where Tranquility is playing against Signal Hill, and the winner of this game will play against either Pleasantville or Carapachima East Secondary School. So the girls are on the field right now. The score is actually 4-0 in favor of Signal Hill, and Tranquility are about to actually take a corner. So interesting football all around.
Well, it's interesting to note, of course, secondary schools, women's secondary schools football. We showed the final last year live right here on Sports Max. Bishop Anstey being the winner. Hans, women's schools football started back in the 80s with just a handful of teams. You have to give credit, of course, to the SSFL now, boasting of over 60 female teams participating in the tournament. Of course, an increase in participation. The girls have shown interest in the sport. From a national perspective, of course, the women have been doing well, knocking on the door, one goal away from going to the World Cup against Ecuador, of course, losing in that game. The women's game is on the up.
All right. Now, let's get into Signal Hill, winners of the Tobago division. Now, they beat Speyside 5-3, which means they could score goals.
They can score goals, but they also have been conceding goals. Signal Hill Secondary is a school that did not participate in the Premiership, of course, resigned to the Tobago zone. They did not win the Tobago zone, but of course this is knockout football. They have had a terrific run. They've beaten Speyside. They are the champions of Tobago. They now sit here, of course, unfancied. But again, knockout football brings anything to the table.
Yes.
So expect a spirited Signal Hill Secondary performance.
Sour North, winners of the East Zone. They finished third on the Premiership table. To get here, they got 1-all against Trinity College of the East. They started off behind in that game, and on penalties, they were able to get the better of Trinity College.
Well, Sandwich North Secondary have moved through the gears. This is a team that would feel that they are favorites now, right now in this competition, to win the competition. Of course, they played against Signal Hill Secondary last year at this same juncture, the semi-final level. So they would feel that they have the confidence. We're playing here in East Trinidad, home for San Juan North Secondary. A good finals. They showed a lot of character, of course, to score in the last minute against Trinity College East and getting a performance and getting a win.
Yeah.
And now push them here. They're one win away from playing in a final that they believe they have every opportunity to win.
But just one goal is not that much of a difference. It really isn't.
It's not a big difference at all. But this is a game that would be decided on the pitch. Of course, Signal Hill is a school that they would not have seen throughout this competition. It's the first time these two teams would have met this season. But San Juan North boasts the goal-scoring prowess of the likes of Boyce, the likes of Chase, and the likes of Morris, who have been red hot throughout this knockout series. And I expect them to be of course, up front during this entire encounter.
Well, what an encounter we expect it to be here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. Brent, for the coaches, what would you like to find out from the coaches today?
Well, I think one thing for four is the Signal Hill Secondary School. How are they going to approach this one? It's well documented, and we talked about it here at Sports Max. The travel situation as it relates to Signal Hill Secondary. This is a school that would have had to leave very early in the morning to get over to Trinidad. Yes, it may be a 15-minute flight, but still they would have had to go to the airport, and all that comes with the tardiness would come in, and the tedious process of coming here to Trinidad. That would be a factor. And of course for San Juan North Secondary, complacency, because they would have felt that they are a Premiership team and they would feel that they have every right to win here today. And football is a sport that is played on the pitch, not off the pitch. They will have to perform if they are to get a result here today.
Well, we'll find out what the result will lie ahead when we come back around here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. This is the Coca-Cola Intercol National Semi-Final number 1. Tobago's champions, Signal Hill Secondary, against champions of the East, Sour North Secondary School, and Tobago's Signal Hill. They are already in the girls' finals in Intercol. We're actually going to be bringing that game for you all as well. Here we see the guys from Sour warming up, and what a game it is going to be. When we come back around, we bring you more action here from the Larry Gomes Stadium.
Pandemonium in the stands! They will celebrate long into the night. That is it! What a performance in extra time!
face up against each other here at the Larry Gomes Stadium in a few minutes. The National Intercol semi-finals, #1, brought to you all courtesy Coca-Cola. My name is Hans Devines, and here with me right now, manager of Sawa North Secondary School, Mr. Clark. Tell us about the program, because you're telling me off here that the program is working on and off the field.
Good afternoon, Hans. Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Well, our program at Sawa, we started earlier this year, preparing the boys both in and out of the classroom. And we have seen a lot of success in the classroom. It's the first time we have so many boys at lower 6 level.
Wow.
Getting into lower 6, we have just about 6 or 7 guys in lower 6. And out of the classroom, on the field of play, we have even our junior footballers stepping up to the plate. Yesterday we were in the National Under-16 final. So we are doing well both in and out of the classroom, Hans.
All right, how do you all manage not being complacent in today's matchup? Because let's be honest, Signal Hill did not compete in the Premiership this year, and you all finished at 3rd place, so it's very easy to underestimate them.
I think that's our biggest challenge, Hans. Today we just had to keep the boys focused. They had the experience of witnessing the Under-16 team lose a match yesterday in the final, and the Under-16 boys were in tears. So we just had to tell them, don't be the team to be in tears today, So other than that, I think the boys are self-motivated to get to the final, to be in our 3rd straight Intercol final.
All right, thank you very much, Manager Clark. In the words of Jabari Gray, if you continue to focus on the loss, you'll continue to hurt. If you focus on the lesson, you'll continue to grow. Josiah here with us. I mean, you all won the East Zone. How confident are you today?
I am very confident. I believe we could take it home this year again.
Why?
Why? Well, we won the year before. We won last year, so we could do it again.
You could do it again. Tell me about Mr. Brewster.
Mr. Brewster, lovely fella. He's very hardworking, dedicated, very goal-oriented. He knows what he wants. On the field, he can control the ball, passing, excellent. When he really down and we need him, he does perform, he does show up.
All right, well, let's take a look at this young player that shows up when needed.
Football chose me. My favorite footballer is Wayne Rooney because of what he did for Manchester United, and I grew up seeing him play, and I just had a liking for him. I want to be a professional footballer when I grow up. I would like to own my own business. Once I'm making money, it doesn't matter. I have friends that help me with my schoolwork, and basically I just focus on the football, and after the season, that's when I really put in the work on my books. My mom's is my biggest inspiration because she makes sure I have everything, and she works hard to make sure I have everything. What makes me different from the rest of my teammates is basically what I can do on the ball. Move it around, spread it, play through balls, assist, score. I think I need to have more of an impact on the game and more consistency. Work harder, put in 10 times the work. Success for our team this year will be bringing the Premiership home, winning the East Zone title again, and this year bringing the International home.
Chasing that success, Hilaire Brewster of Sawa North Secondary School, right now joined by manager Mr. Irvin of Signal Hill Secondary School. How do you all prepare to match up against Sawa North Secondary School, the Stallions?
Well, we only hear about them because we really played in the zone this year, right?
Yeah.
But it's a new management, right? So what we expect to do is to play a fast game today, right, and to outrun these guys. Right? We only hearing about this boys.
Yeah.
So somewhere we have to stop him.
Somewhere you have to stop him. Yeah. Any other special preparations you all did?
Yes. Our coach did many strenuous exercise to benefit the guys,
So we expect power from the team from the hill today.
All the while, we here to celebrate and to win for Tobago.
Yes, man, doing it for the entire island of Tobago. Omar, y'all just secured a spot in the women's final. of the secondary schools football, the Intercol?
Well, yeah, our girls always dominate when it comes to football, even in Tobago when you come to Trinidad. Even though the death of Abby was heavy on the team,
Yeah.
they put it behind the back and they say, let's win this and win it for her.
And win it for her. Now, Signal Hill, in terms of football, you all have somewhat of a history.
Well, yeah, we had one of the greatest players who came out of Trinidad and Tobago, Dwight York.
Yeah.
One of the greatest coaches, Bertil Sinclair, who won us 6 Intercol titles. So we have a lot of faith on our side today. Even though Sawa, they come to the table, but that's not a problem. We ain't scared.
Yeah, man. So y'all are definitely going to stand up strong. Thank you very much, Omar. Right now, let's find out a little bit more about the history of Signal Hill Secondary.
When we talk secondary school football in Tobago, no other team dominates the pack like the boys in yellow and green of Signal Hill Secondary School. Signal Hill Secondary School has been a force to be reckoned with over the years, and with 14 national titles to their name, Signal Hill is steeped in footballing history. The school has been dubbed the Boys' School of the Decade for the 1980s by the SSFL, and with the likes of players like Dwight York and coach Bertil Sinclair, the most decorated coach in the history of the league, we could definitely see why. And while the team has not won any national titles in the past few years, they hold the joint title for the second most national Intercol wins with 6, tied with St. Anthony's College, and only bested by Naparima College, who has 7 titles to their name. Could this be the year they add one more national title to their tally? Only time will tell.
Pandemonium in the stands. They will celebrate long into the night. That is it. What a performance in extra time.
Well, wonderful day here at in Arima, the Larry Gomes Stadium. We're here for the Intercol, the National Intercol final. It's Sawa North against Signal Hill Secondary. beautiful day. It's a semi-final day here, and there is the shot of the Larry Gomes Stadium. Of course, Larry Gomes, named after a former West Indies Test cricketer. And we are here in Malabar in Arima. I'm Colin Murray, and alongside, of course, none other than Brent Sancho. Brent, interesting day here in terms of really Signal Hill, just history we have of them, unknown quantity. Not sure how they're going to do here. Let's have a look at the pitch, for example. We've had a girl games there. Have they done anything to the pitch really to worry the important semi-final game?
No, not much work has been done on it. Of course, as I mentioned in the pre-show, they would have had a game played here before in the women's semi-final between Signal Hill and, of course, Tranquil Secondary School. So there is a bit of marks on the pitch from the studs, of course, from the various players on it. The pitch is a very flat pitch. The grass is interesting to note. It's extremely low. And I think, Colin, the last time we broadcast here in the final, the East Zone final between San Juan North Secondary and, of course, Trinity College East, we talked about how flat it is. We talked about how quickly the ball will roll and will follow through. So expect the game to be a fast-paced game. Expect the ball to roll through because there's hardly, if ever, any grass on it because of the low cut that the groundsmen here at Larry Gomes Stadium. And as we look at the camera going into the pitch, there we see there's some brown areas, a little bit of white sand. It's known as Guyanese sand on it. So it's a bit sandy, a bit grainy. It's, of course, Bermuda grass, but it's extremely low, Colin, extremely low. And, of course, that's in front of the goal area there, and it shows you how low the pitch is, how low the grass is, which means, Colin, it's going to be a fast-paced game.
Of course, we know of Sawa, but we don't know much about Signal Hill. The manager was saying that they're going to run, and they're going to try and put pressure on Sawa. Now, we saw Trinity East when they played against Sawa. This is the game here between, this is Signal Hill when they met in the semi-final. Of course, Sawa North coming off just a slender 1-0 victory. It was much closer than we anticipated. Can we anticipate that kind of game, or is Sawa the class between the two teams? Is it going to tell?
Well, I believe the class would be a bit too much for Signal Hill Secondary. It's interesting to note, of course, the pictures we're watching of last year's semi-final, that Signal Hill Secondary was part of the Premiership. And that's that is a very important note. They're not this season. They would have played the majority of their football in the Tobago zone only. And it's also interesting to note that they didn't win the Tobago zone. Speyside won it. So because those factors, it would suggest that Signal Hill Secondary, there's a bit of difference, a gulf in class between, of course, Signal Hill and San Juan North Secondary. And add to the fact, we have mentioned this a couple of times here during the production, Colin, as of course the travel. Yeah. For the Tobago schools getting to Trinidad. They would have to leave very early in the morning from A&R Robinson Airport in Tobago. And of course, although it's a 15-minute flight, as we have documented before, it's the entire process of getting here. Sometimes they would land at the Piarco Airport in Trinidad, and they would have to camp out at the stadium for 4 or 5 hours. And of course, they would have to have their meals, etc. So they would not have their normal preparation for a football game, which is a challenge in itself.
Yeah, it is a challenge. Of course, the substitutes are already out on the bench. Of course, the coach, Jerry Moore, the very experienced coach for Sawa, and he's done very, very well with this team. The rest of the technical staff of the Sawa North team. And of course, we just have a look at, we probably try and get a look at the Signal Hill bench because they are also out, and they are just waiting for we're waiting on the officials, of course, to start to come out. Of course, the sponsor of the National Intercol, or the Intercol for many, many years, Coca-Cola, and they are here again with the secondary schools, partnering with the secondary schools to bring the Intercol.
Remember the Coca-Cola balls, Colin, back in when Coca-Cola's back in the 80s, I believe.
Yep. And last year, I remember I got a hamper from Coca-Cola. I don't know if you got one, Brent, but
yeah, I barely got
a hamper.
I'm not sure what's happening this year, but I'm very sure that Coca-Cola will look after us as they normally do.
Well, here are the officials making their way out, accompanied by the respective teams. Of course, the Signal Hill team in a bright yellow kit there. And of course, Samoa in the traditional green and white. So the teams just about lining up now to meet each other. And then once they do that, they will take their photos, and then we'll have the teams, and we will be able to get the teams, and then we'll be able to get this game underway. So it's going to be Signal Hill secondary out of Tobago, and we talked about Tobago, Brent, in terms of in the last couple of years their teams have come up and have gone right back down. It was Signal Hill, Speyside, this year Bishops came up and they went right back down. And it's starting to get a little bit worrying. It's
extremely worrying, especially when you take into consideration the fact that this is Signal Hill has produced the likes of Dwight York, Colvin Hutchinson, just to name a few, and of course the amount of national titles they would have won throughout the year. They've been rampant, they've been dominant, they've come to Trinidad, they've won games, they have been very good programs, and as you've rightly said, over the last 3 to 4 years, they just haven't seemed to have stuck in within the very difficult premiership, we may add, and they have seemed to have fluttered a bit, and it's very concerning, particularly the fact that Tobago has produced so many of our national footballers, and of course so many great memories in this said very competition, the Coca-Cola Intercol.
Well, there we have the officials. Of course, the whistle is being carried by the very experienced Garfield Weeks. And with him is Mr. Gill, Williams, and McDonald, the first, second assistants, and of course the fourth official. So Weeks will be the man carrying the whistle. Of course, the teams now in their final huddle. There is Signal Hill in a very bright yellow kit with a black stripe. And then you have the Samoa team as well. It's very hot and sunny here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. So again, Brent, the heat is going to play a little part. But let's have a look at the Samoa North team, a very familiar team to us, and no changes from the team that beat Trinity East. There's Garcia, John, Chase, Brewster, Thomas, of course, the man up front, the skipper scoring the goals, Boyce, and there's the goalkeeper, extremely good keeper, Emmanuel John, Duncan Farrier, Cameron Warner, and then of the coach, Jerry Moore. Let's look at their formation.
Coach Moore, of course, keeping the same lineup that beat Trinity College East in the East Zone final. Look for Thomas to anchor that back four. John, of course, in goal. Two sitting midfielders in Farrier and Warner. Expect Farrier to be the one a little bit more advanced than Warner. Brewster, Chase, and Cameron provides the guile in the middle of the park. Chase and Cameron in particular gets up and down the flanks. And Boyce, of course, the captain, the leader, and of course the goal scorer for San Juan North Secondary will lead the line. Yes, well, he'll be expected to be the real man up front to try and get the goals. Let's have a look at the Signal Hill lineup. Of course, in goal, the skipper, Devon Daniel. There's Laptis, Small, James, Carrington, Sargent, Winchester. That's a name you may very well have to look out for. Ramsey, Alfred, Jack, and Jordan. And the coach, of course, Sherwin Jordan, the man leading this team. The formation for Signal Hill. Well, Colin, they're going to play, of course, a 1-4-4-2. Very basic system, but expect, as they said in the pre-game, a lot of guile and a lot of energy that they would have exerted. It's extremely important that the Signal Hill secondary team manage this game correctly and try to play themselves into it. Well, we're just about getting ready for kickoff in the first semi-final, the Intercol, National Intercol final, Coca-Cola National Intercol, the semi-final number 1. It's Signal Hill out of Tobago coming up against the East Zone winners, Samoa North. Here we go, as Signal Hill starting to just knock the ball around. That's Winchester wide, but he can't keep it in. So it's going to be a throw for Samoa. Duncan is the man that's going to take the throw. So Duncan looking to get it to Brewster. Brewster does well. He's turning with it, trying to get to the byline. He's not going to keep it in because across comes Jack, and he's playing it out. It's going to be a throw. We expect Kyle Thomas to come up. There's Jerry Moore, the head coach of Samoa North Secondary.
It is going to be Thomas, however, with the long throw. Does that effortlessly, and the header, in fact, seemed to have come from Faria and wasn't able to keep it down. And it's going to be a goal kick for the boys from Tobago. So skipper Devon Daniel.
Of course, the long throw into the box. We've seen this threat many times during the East Zone final. Thomas could really throw that ball in there, and Signal have to be in their toes.
Well, this is Faria. Can't keep it in. It's going to be a throw for Signal Hill. Ramsey is going to take the throw. Gets it to Winchester, but he can't keep it in. So it's going to be a throw this time going the other way. That's a lovely flick on to Brewster. Brewster is going in a wide position. Boyce is in the middle. He's aiming for Boyce, but it goes straight to keeper Daniel. And he starts it early, gets it into the middle of the field to James. James to getting that ball forward towards Alfred. He has to go back into the middle. This time it's Sargent going backwards as Signal Hill trying to get possession. That's not a bad looking ball to Laptis. But actually, it wasn't Laptis. The ball went towards James, who had the shot, but was way off target. It's going to be a goal kick for Sawan. It's played towards Garcia. He sends it upfield. This is Brewster. Kareem John. Isaiah Chase in an advanced position. He decides to go back to Thomas. Thomas looking for Boyce. Headed away by Jack. Goes straight to Brewster. John, Kareem John. Looking for Boyce. Takes it on nicely in his chest. Oh, he does well, but couldn't keep his foot in. It's with Laptis. Plays it inside. Licks to get it towards Jack, but it's won by Brewster. Faria to Boyce. Faria battling for it, does well, gets it to Boyce. Boyce having the shot, was never really in total control of it. Ball was always bouncing away from him, and it goes into the arms of goalkeeper Daniel. There is the coach of Signal Hill, the head coach, Sherwin Jordan. Nearly said Sherwin Winchester. Seems if you come from Tobago, Brent, you've got to carry Sherwin. So it's going to be a free kick. Sent downfield. One in the middle by Warner. This is Cameron. That's a bad ball. It's won by Winchester. So there's a Sherwin Jordan, the coach, and there's a Quincy Winchester that is playing wide on the left for Signal Hill.
I think they're trying to play mind games with you, Colin.
Yeah, they obviously are. But it's Sargent doing well. It's going to be Winchester. He comes in field, but it's picked up here by Warner. Sends it upfield, looking for Boyce. This is Small. Sargent can't turn with it. Does well, sends a nice ball over towards Winchester. Gets it in field, looking for Alfred. Sent back up. So Signal Hill holding their own so far in the first 5 minutes of this game. This is Sargent looking for the shot. Is he fouled? Yes, he is. It's going to be a free kick in a promising position.
In a very promising position. You have to give the boys from Tobago some credit. As the ball comes into the box, Alfred with a good touch. He shifts it wide of Thomas, who lunges in. And of course, catches the left leg of Alfred, which puts a free kick in a dangerous position. Give credit to the boys from Tobago. They've started very well, very promising. They've stringed together a couple passes. They don't look overawed by this.
Well, I was about to say that. They're not intimidated at all by the Samoa players.
They've been innovative. They've passed the ball. Not afraid to play.
Well, let's see the free kick coming through. I think John got his fingertips there, did he?
Looks like a deflection. Thought it was a deflection off of the wall. A bit surprised by that call by the referee.
But that was not a bad effort.
Well, look at it here, Colin.
Christian Jordan.
Jordan with
Was
it. Yes, it is a deflection. Looks like a Signal Hill player. Look at that. I tell you what, that was not far off. Comes over here. It looks like definitely a deflection. And hits the top of the crossbar. I think John was definitely beaten. It is the unpredictability of knockout football. Signal Hill look the better team so far.
But this is Boyce. To John, Kareem John. Plays a nice ball forward, looking for Brewster. It goes to Boyce. Boyce, that's a bad ball. It's going to be picked up by Ramsey. And they give it right back to San Juan. Garcia to Duncan. Cameron. This is Warner. Brewster getting it back towards Duncan. Ball play forward to Sargent. He gets it to Alfred. This is Chase. We haven't seen him much in the game. Nice run forward from Kareem John. Let's see the cross. It's hit a little bit backward, but still. Oh, the shot coming from Cameron. Never got over the ball. But in the end, it was a good cross from John. He actually picked out Cameron, and Cameron decided to try it one time. He was always leaning back, and so he never got the shot on target.
Yeah, never got it on target. It's better play. A bit more enterprising by San Juan North. They started a bit sluggish, in all honesty. We're quite used to seeing them starting on the front foot. They haven't, and you have to credit Signal Hill secondary for that. But here comes San Juan North.
Lovely ball towards Cameron. Boyce is making the run in the middle, but it goes over his head, and Chase has to give chase. Does well. John making that run on the outside, but Chase decides to have a shot himself. But a very tame effort that goalkeeper Daniel has it well covered. Thought the better ball was to play it through to Kareem John, who was making that overlapping run. So a throw for San Juan, giving the ball away. Boyce can't get control. Got another throw, so Kyle Thomas is going to come forward to send one of his bombs into the box. It's something that some of these players got to be wary of, Brent, because Kyle Thomas possesses this long throw. So if you continue giving the throws away very close to the corner flag, it comes like almost a corner.
Yeah, it's a dangerous set piece, and Kyle Thomas can't throw that ball all the way into the box. Trinity College East in the East Zone final found that out the hard way.
Look at that. That's a very, very
Dangerous.
good throw.
They've defended that well.
Players down in the box in the meantime. It's going to be a throw for San Juan. But not sure who's down in the box.
Right.
It could be Brewster, is it? No, it's not Brewster. It looks to be... It's Faria.
Well, the ball comes into the box here. Here it is. It could be a clash of heads. It's a good view of it here. Goes up. I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah, that's Faria going down. The ball seemed to have hit him somewhere
in the face.
Grimacing in pain, of course.
Not sure exactly where it tagged him, but he's hurt. He's down.
Well, there's Coach Jordan.
He'd be a happy man so far.
Oh yeah, he should be, because we're just over 10, coming up to 10 and a half minutes. And a couple shots from San Juan, but nothing really threatening. Then, of course, they had the long throw that caused some problems. So we're restarting with a throw for Samoa. They give it back to, this is Kareem John. Kyle Thomas, luckily he gets it to Brewster. Brewster holding, guilty of holding on too long. This is Sargent, but Brewster wins it back. Oh, they're giving away the ball far too often. Samoa, they could run themselves into problems. Another free kick here.
Sloppy, Samoa North. We talked about complacency, Colin, coming into this game. And you'd have to suggest that Samoa North has been very complacent. Very sloppy play by Thomas.
This is Jelani James.
And James, of course, gets past his marker. With pulling and tugging, and rightfully so. It's been whistled back for infringement. But Samoa North is playing with fire. They haven't started the way we expected them to. And Colin, you may have to put that one down to complacency.
Again. Cameron, take that! Closer to cheers! Up to the board! Pass the board! Up!
Straight to the keeper. That's a good looking ball for Boyce. Boyce giving chase. He gets there too. The keeper does well in the end. But Boyce just got a touch to it, and the keeper sliding coming through did well. So there's first signs of danger. This is Brewster looking to get it to Boyce. Clearance coming there from Derwin Jack. Sargent losing out to Chase. Laptis does well. Sends a long ball, searching ball for Alfred, but he's not going to get there much before keeper John. Bowls it out to Duncan. Acres of space in front of him. Here is that.
That's good goalkeeping, Colin.
Excellent. His
by
legs
Daniel.
were spread.
Good positive goalkeeping, came out of his goal, made himself big, gave Boyce a decision to make, and of course, closing on the angle at the same time. Like what I've seen so far from the Signal Hill secondary team, Colin.
Oh yeah, I think they've been very competitive. I think what the manager said, they're going to run and they're going to run, and that's what they're doing. They're not giving the Samoa North team time to settle on the ball, which is good. Oh, they give it away. That's Boyce. This could be problems here. Couldn't get it up, couldn't get the cross over. Cameron still has it. Finally, Signal Hill get it down. This is Alfred. James couldn't control it. It's won here by Laptis. Sends a good ball to Winchester. Winchester starting to run down that flank. Back to Ramsey. Actually, that's Jordan. Sent upfield, taken on the chest by Jack. But Boyce looking to turn him. Cleared away. Well, that's a foul, is it? No, says the referee. This is Alfred. Towards Jordan. Laptis. Sends a good-looking ball, but cleared away by Kareem John. So Signal Hill certainly, we've been playing for 15 minutes now. And I tell you what, they have been good value so far. Laptis with the throw. Kyle Thomas gets it to Chase. Holding on too much. He got lucky there because he had John wide on the left, refused to play John. Jordan. Warner, getting it back towards Garcia. Long ball, searching ball there. The shot coming, but that's not well controlled, and it's going to be a goal kick. So after just over 15 minutes, it's Samoa North 0, Signal Hill 0. No goals yet. We've been coming up to 16 minutes of this game. And I would have thought that a lot of people, Brent, would have thought that by now, Samoa would have posed a much more of a threat to Signal Hill. But this is Brewster. Gives it away, Jack with the clearance. The shot coming from Jordan. Handball, is it? So it's going to be a free kick again. So this is about the third or fourth free kick that Signal Hill has had in good positions. One, of course, took a deflection, hit the top of the crossbar. So I think they're going to be quite happy with some of these set pieces.
As much as I want to point it towards complacency, Colin, Signal Hill Secondary is playing very well, good football. And then that's the reason why they've been getting these types of opportunities. That's why they're still in this game, and that's why we're still at 0-0 after 16 minutes.
Here is the free kick. It goes straight through the wall. It took took a deflection off the wall, and they've got a corner. Of course, the free kick coming from Christian Jordan, and the ball just flicking off the outside of the wall and going for a corner. This is they're taking it short. This is good. They're working that nicely. Oh, Brewster.
It's close. Stuck the leg out.
Upfield. Well, no real appeal from the Signal Hill players.
It's a good challenge.
Oh yeah, it was. Daniel trying to get Winchester going. It's another good challenge. Picked up by Duncan. Brewster. Faria. Boyce to Kareem John. It's an interesting looking ball. Headed away. Warner gets there before Ramsey and couldn't keep it in. It's going to be a throw. Lack of communication. The loose ball goes to Chase. Can't keep it in. Can he? No, he can't. So it's going to be a free. It's going to be a throw. Coming up to 19 minutes of this first half. We're yet to get a goal in the first Coca-Cola National Intercol semi-final.
I think San Juan North needs a positive passage of play to really get themselves back into it. They've been in the peripherals of the game so far. This is a game they should be dominating.
This is a better movement from them. Chase with the cross. Not such a good one, but eventually it's going to come to Cameron. He gets it to Duncan. Passing is not as good as they would like. Duncan does well. Gets it towards Boyce, and he gives it away. And out comes Signal Hill with it. The Sergeant. Alfred making the run going down the line. He's got Winchester wide. He uses Winchester. He loses out. Chase trying to get Brewster going. They've got to be careful. Some pushing by Chase. It's going to be a free kick. So just about coming up to 20 minutes. We're at the Larry Gomes Stadium. The Coca-Cola National Intercol semi-final number 1.
Oh, this could be trouble.
Well, won the ball well, did Sergeant, but it was pushed a little bit when he won it. Went too close to the keeper. In fact, that was Alfred for Signal Hill, but this is Chase to Brewster. Gets the ball over, not a bad ball. It comes to Warner.
It's got to be it.
It's goal number 1. Isaiah Chase has given Sawa the lead. The cross was good. And in fact, it went to Warner, who got it to Chase, and Chase put it into the back of the net. Samoa North take the lead.
But they haven't played particularly well thus far, and they have been on the outskirts of this one. But when you give the likes of Chase, Morris and Boyce any opportunity in that 18-yard box, they are going to punish you. Brewster with the ball across, and eventually comes back into the line of Chase, who executed a very good finish. He was all alone in the penalty area, and he just flicks it over Daniel, who had absolutely no chance. San Juan North Secondary, yes, we can hear you. You are up 1-0.
So 1-0. Isaiah Chase giving them the lead. Thomas, good looking ball towards Boyce. Gets it on to the goal scorer, Chase. He can't control it. It's going to be a goal kick. Daniel losing his footing as the ball goes straight to Warner. Gets it towards Farrier. He loses out. The ball won by Jordan. Gets it downfield to Alfred. Back to Winchester. And that's not Sherwin. That's Quincy. This is good movement again by Samoa. Chase sending that ball forward, looking for Cameron. Man down in the middle. It seems to be Farrier, is it? Could very well be Malik Farrier down.
Yeah, it is Farrier. Looks like you get a bit of a knock in the ankle area, in the ankle region. Coach Jordan, of course, in our picture. Maybe a little bit disappointed to concede, Colin. His team played well, but you just
thought
can't
it was a little careless, wasn't it?
You can't give the likes of Chase, Boyce, and of course Morris, who's on the bench. When he comes on, he's one of those that can put the ball into the back of the net as well. They've been prolific this season, that trio. And
Brewster's also got a few goals for Samoa North.
Brewster scored as well. But they've scored a lot of goals this season, and they've been very good in front of goal. That's one of the main reasons why they're here right now in the national semi-final. Finish a school high third this year in the Premiership. It's evident of their success up front, and of course it'd be remissive of us, Colin, not to mention their goalkeeping prowess, and of course Thomas in the back. So it's a very good all-round team.
I tell you, I like Kareem John. You know, the more I see of him, he's a very comfortable kind of left back. His positional play is good. He makes good runs going forward. He's a good crosser of the ball, and I think he's a good player. But here's that ball coming across from Brewster.
Once they're born across, look at the Signal Hill defense. They go, but they were ball watching. Hence the reason. Look at 3 yellow shirts in the area. No one, not even a body on Chase. You can't do that at this level.
Here's another chance for Samoa. The shot is not good in the end, coming from Cameron. Should have done better. He seemed to have gone with the outside of his boot. Should have put his laces through it, gone for power, and then try to put it on target. Garcia to Warner. Trying to do a little too much with it. Picked up by Jordan. Gets it towards James. That's a ball there looking for Alfred. From Jordan. Just chipping it forward. But again, hit a little too close to the keeper. Well, that's a tough tackle on Jordan. Actually, it was James who had chipped that ball forward a little earlier. But an indirect free kick awarded by referee Garfield Weeks. It's a huge name to live up to, Garfield. But in the cricketing world, Brent.
Of course.
So we see a substitution. Dixon has come on for Faria. So unfortunately Faria can't take any further part in the game. And Dixon has made his way on for Faria. Dixon going into the midfield. So like-for-like substitution as Brewster in charge, giving it to Chase. Chase playing it nicely for Dixon, who gets his first touch, and he has a shot from distance.
Talk about confidence. first touch in the football game, and you take a shot.
Pushes it once from about 30 meters out, having the shot.
Got it on target.
Sargent fouled by Chase, the man who opened the scoring, Coach Jerry Moore. Would be happy. I'm not sure if he'd be happy with how Samoa are playing at the moment, but he certainly would be happy that they're leading. That's another foul, and again in a position where Signal Hill can hurt you. 5 fouls so far for Samoa North, and at least 4 of them have been in promising positions for Signal Hill.
They're not leaving that backdoor shot, Samoa North. They keep leaving it open for Signal Hill to enter. I think giving away these silly fouls in and around the area, it's not what you want.
It seems to be James going to take it. Again, it smacks into the wall. So they'd be a little disappointed with some of the free kicks as Brewster sends it upfield. I would think, Brent, of the free kicks, they haven't been particularly good. The more of them have come off the wall. And you just have to think that they should be making better use of those free kicks.
Yeah, they've had a couple opportunities, 3 to be exact, in that area. None of them registered as a shot on target, but of course one hit off the crossbar. That was a deflected one. Since that one, they've not really threatened goalkeeper John. But they've been good value for money. We, of course, coming into this one, an unknown entity coming out of the Tobago zone and not playing or playing any games within the Premiership this year. The one representative from Tobago was Bishops.
That's a good ball to Chase. Cross, not good. And Laptis is playing it out. It's going to be a through for Samoa. Some of the supporters for Samoa. Of course, the Tobago contingent wouldn't have all that much support here. Thomas with that long throw of his. That's not a good clearance, and in fact, Thomas is going to have an opportunity again to bomb it into the box. The clearance should have been much better and hit downfield. Came off the outside of the boot. It's another very good throw. The shot coming, oh, it's in the back of the net. As cool as you like, Warner has made it 2 goals to 0. Darian Warner has basically side-footed it into the back of the net. Again, a loose ball coming just on the edge of the box, and all he did was to just side-foot it. And Daniel couldn't get across in time, and Darian Warner has made it 2 goals to 0 Samoa North.
Well, we talked about the potency of Thomas's long throw. Goes into the box, anybody's balls, ricochet, comes out eventually to Darian Warner, who just sticks a foot at it and directs it into the back of the net. There's no chance Daniel can get there, despite his stretch in vain. Again, Samoa North with their set plays causing all sorts of havoc to the joy of the jubilant Samoa North secondary supporters. Well, now getting used to this, Colin. This is their 3rd final, or heading to their 3rd final, or playing towards going towards their 3rd final, national final.
Yes, and the way things are going, it's going to take a Herculean effort from Signal Hill to get back into this game. They're already 2 goals down, and we've been playing for half an hour. And that's a tough tackle. And another foul committed by Thomas. So Signal Hill with a free kick. They've got to be careful because Signal Hill, they just need one opportunity, Brent. There's the tackle now from Thomas.
Oh, that was late and naughty by Thomas. He's very lucky not to go into the referee's book for that challenge. That was a loose one. Very late.
Here is the free kick. Foul committed, or is it? Let's see. Yes, a foul committed. Offside, actually. So goalkeeper Emmanuel John just holding his thigh, it seems. Or is it? Not too sure, Brent, what transpired there. Was he?
I'm not sure if we can take another look at it. It looks like well, here it is, Colin. It's a shot, but it's a strange one. I'm not sure. First of all, why he's standing there in the first place. That looks like James.
Yeah.
Clearly in an offside position. And secondly, he impeded the progress of John, and it looks like just a very awkward collision. Of course, John is the last player that they would want to lose Sanwo North Secondary. He's been an absolute revelation for them. He started in the latter part of the season for them, and since he's been in, they've been outstanding. He's a top goalkeeper, the young man, Emmanuel John.
It's a good ball looking for Chase. In fact, it comes off of Laptis. It's going to be a throw for Sanwo North. Just about coming up to 33.5 minutes gone. Sanwo North lead by 2 goals to 0. Goals scored by Chase and Warner. Thomas with another of his long throws. This time it's cleared, but they've made a couple meters up the left, so it's going to be Thomas again with another one of those long ones. They're just not able to clear that ball, get it right down, because it's another long bomb and eventually some pushing. It's going to be a free kick for Signal Hill. So skipper Devon Daniel is going to take the throw. Or he's going to take the free kick, sorry. Devon Daniel. This is Brewster to Duncan. He's got some support from Garcia. Warner, the goal scorer, that's another good ball, but Duncan does well eventually to get to it. Gives it back to Warner. Warner getting himself out of trouble. And Thomas with a very wild clearance, not a good one at all, but Cameron can't control it. In fact, they win a throw. Coming up to 35 minutes. It's still Sanwo North 2, Signal Hill 0. Brewster just overhitting that, was looking for Chase. Chase committing a foul. So it's going to be a free kick for Sanwo North. It's going to be Jack with the free kick. foul committed. It's going to be a free kick for Signal Hill. Let's have a look at that.
Yeah, here it is, Colin. Ball comes over there. It's that frailing left arm there that eventually catches it by Garcia. His frailing arm seemed to caught Sergeant straight into the face. Other than that, it was a fair challenge, but the left arm caught Sergeant in the face. It's quite hot out there.
It is.
And the players, particularly Signal Hill Secondary, they've been very vibrant despite the weather. See the bench
of
San Juan North Secondary.
Of course, the skipper Boyce, who's just gone back to defend this free kick.
Well, they haven't played particularly well, San Juan North Secondary, but a team of championship pedigree can win at any course, even when you don't play well. And when you have the ability, of course, of Thomas, who can throw the ball into a box, he can really create something out of nothing, and that's what San Juan North is capable of doing. And I know we're still at least 50 minutes plus from the end of this fixture to decide who goes on to the national final. But you can't help but thinking that this could possibly be their year, San Juan North Secondary.
I'm sure Naparima and St. Anthony's would have a say about that. Tomorrow's semi-final, Brent, it's a tough one to call. Naparima and St. Anthony's. Of course, Naparima may have the slight edge simply because they're champions, winning the league. But as we all know, in Intercol knockout, the league says nothing.
It says absolutely nothing. It would come down, of course, to on the day. You can't help but think as well, Colin, there's so many schools that would be very, very disappointed in their performances throughout the season thus far.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, that was Ramsey playing it out, and it's going to be a corner for San Juan North. It's going to be Brewster going across to take the corner. The first corner for San Juan North. Surprisingly, they're leading by 2-0, but this is their first corner. This is a good one. The heads go up, and unfortunately Thomas wasn't able to power the header towards the goal. It just flicked off his head. It's gone behind. It's going to be a goal kick for Signal Hill. Skipper Daniel with the goal kick. Well, they've gained a few meters down the right side. We're in the final 5 minutes of regulation time on this first half, and whatever added on time there will be. Oh, that's well done by Chase, but couldn't keep it in. The crowd doesn't like it. They thought he kept the ball in play. Of course, the assistant referee is seeing much better than us. Kareem John. Nice looking ball for Boyce. He slows it down, gets it to Warner. Warner to Duncan. Cameron. This is good. This is very good from Samoa North. Cameron with that cross ball. Headed away. James. John. Thomas. Good ball to Duncan. Cameron. He's going to look to take on his man. Cameron. Oh, he's messed it up with the final pass. Thomas. Duncan. Wide is Cameron. He's not going towards Cameron. He goes into the middle to that man who's come on as a substitute, Dixon. Back to Thomas. That's a good ball, but can't get towards Chase. Boyce. Oh, Chase does well to keep it in. Does very well. In fact, he wins a corner. Just about 2.5 minutes left in this first half. Samoa North leading comfortably at the moment by 2-0. Oh, he waited on it. Did Daniel was a little bit lucky. This is Brewster. This time they win a throw, but the throw here is as good as a corner because you know Kyle Thomas is going to throw it straight into the box.
You got to deal with it, Colin.
Is the throw from Thomas.
Trouble.
This is Boyce with a final header, but it went straight to the keeper. But you just felt that ball headed correctly by Boyce. The only thing is he headed it straight to the keeper. Had it been a yard on either side, it could have been goal number 3. Well, that's a foul committed by Cameron. It's going to be a free kick for Signal Hill.
There's a throw in here by Thomas into the box. Firstly picked on by Warner. Looks like Garcia with the header at the end.
Thomas clears it upfield. Time it. Picked up by Boyce, gets it to Brewster. Looking to get Chase going. That's a good ball towards Chase. Chase sends it to Boyce.
It's a good idea.
Jack was there to get rid of it. So just about 30 seconds left, and then we'll find out just how much added on time the referee has given. So word coming to us, it's going to be 4 minutes of added on time. Yes, 4 minutes of added on time for this first half. Ball is picked up by Warner. Gets it to Boyce. Boyce with a shot comes off of the defenders. But he was able to turn with that. And Signal Hill were lucky that in the end the ball came off of the defender. But Boyce certainly, he was able to turn with that. He looked up, had the shot, and it deflected. So we have a corner from Brewster. Good corner.
That's a good ball,
and
Colin.
headed out again. So yet another corner.
It's interesting to see the way Samoa North is approaching this one. They only have 4 players in the 18-yard box, which is a bit unusual. expect at least 6 players in that box. They have 2 on the top, and here's one is coming to chase. Here it is.
Cameron. And he's in an offside position is Brewster. He was coming from an offside position to pick up that ball. Immediately, the assistant referee on the far side was indicating that it was offside. So a free kick for San Juan North, who lead by 2-0. The goals coming from Isaiah Chase and Darian Warner. That's Ramsey with that ball forward, and he in fact gets a throw. Oh no, it stayed in. Well,
Just got to clear those. Oh, that's careless.
yeah, very, very careless. And Isaiah Chase with a shot that really, I'm not sure if to call that a shot. Wasn't sure what he was trying to do. So in the final 30 seconds, sorry, final minute and a half of this half, 4 minutes of added on time, just about coming up to that 3rd minute. Oh, Boyce does well. Oh, but he gives it away. Good ball from Garcia to Thomas. That's Alfred. Just about 30 seconds left in this first half. San Juan North leading by 2-0. Free kick. It's going to be taken by Derwin Jack. Oh, that's a good turn, but couldn't control it. It sent high upfield. So San Juan North, they're just trying to preserve their 2-goal lead at the half. They would want to go in. They would want to go in 2-0 lead with that 2-0 lead at halftime, but that's not good football by Small. Allowed it to go out. Chase.
It's a good ball.
To Boyce. Luckily.
It's a poor pass.
So that's just about it. We await the referee's whistle anytime now. I'm sure when this throw is taken, we're going to hear the referee's whistle.
It was a JetBlue airline, Colin?
JetBlue. Yep. And there it is. The referee has indicated that the first half has come to an end. A first half which you have to admit San Juan North didn't play all that well. The important thing is they got 2 goals, and I think in the end, the experience counted.
Well, the experience and their quality, Colin. Their quality was just a notch above Signal Hill Secondary, who you have to give credit to. They tried to play, and of course, they tried to compete in this game. But I believe the quality from San Juan North Secondary was the big difference here this afternoon. As you rightfully said, Colin, they did not play particularly well. But at the end of the day, goals win matches, and they scored 2 goals.
Yeah, they certainly have scored the 2 goals, and that's how it is at the half. Let's have a look at the stats.
Well, 9 goal attempts by San Juan North and 6 by Signal Hill. 6 of those on target for San Juan, 3 by Signal Hill. Very much static stats throughout. The one that juts out is the 9 fouls committed by San Juan. They have been very petulant throughout this game, and they didn't pay for it, not yet. But of course, they still lead by 2-0. And as I said, goals win matches. They scored the opportunities. Signal Hill didn't.
That's correct. So 2-0. Sawa North leading at the half here at the Larry Gomes Stadium. It's the Coca-Cola Intercol National Semi-Final. Goals coming in the 26th minute by Rodney and by, it's Isaiah Chase. It's Isaiah Chase, in fact, who scored the first goal, and Darian Warner, the second goal. It's Sawa North, they're leading by 2-0. Let's take a break and then come back at the Larry Gomes Stadium.
Yes, here. Yes. All right, we're gonna look up there, right? Come this way, sir. All right. So watching that camera there, right? Yeah. He don't even have on his headset right now. Yeah. Two nil, right?
Pandemonium in the stands. They will celebrate long into the night. And is it? What a performance in extra time.
One of the planes that Signal Hill from Tobago would have taken to get here to Larry Gomes Stadium in Arima. This is the Coca-Cola National Intercol semi-final number 1. Omar, y'all have not been able to find the back of the net.
Well, you know, that's all part of football sometimes. We got caught lacking not really early, but in the middle of the game, the sun was in our goalkeeper's face. They made the 2 mistakes, and we were punished for those 2 mistakes.
What do you expect in the second half?
Well, one thing that we noticed is that Sawa, they came out hard, and after a while they were tired.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is apply to that and just push hard and see if we could knock it back.
Wear them down. Josiah, do you think your team is going to be worn down?
No, not at all. I believe we come to win it. We wanted more. As you can see at the beginning, we was kind of more getting into the groove and thing, but once we got into the groove, it was more or less over.
All right, well, it's not over until the final whistle blows. Let's go upstairs to check out the halftime highlights.
Well, here are the highlights of some promising free kicks, Brent, they had. That one took a deflection, came off the top of the bar.
Yeah, it came off the top of the bar. Signal Hill secondary started off, of course, unfashioned coming into this one. The underdogs by every stretch of the imagination, but did have some glimpses and moments. And a lot of that was down to the lackadaisical and complacent approach by San Juan secondary to start with. They started to turn the tide a little bit in the middle of the first half. Chase there with a shot that went directly to goalkeeper Daniel. Again, 1 out of 4 free kicks for Signal Hill Secondary that was poorly taken. They really struggled in the set piece department. And here it is, goal number 1. Rooster puts it across the goal. It eventually comes back across the face. Chase, tapping it into the back of the old onion bag. 1 goal to nil to San Juan North. Can't leave a play of Chase capability
Again,
all alone.
an assist, Brent, coming from Warner. He may have gone for the shot, but he found Chase. What I like was the calmness in which Chase got the goal.
And that's one of the reasons why he scored so many goals in this division for the season. Now Warner getting a chance of his own. Scramble in the box. One of several throws by Big Thomas into the 18-yard box, causing all sorts of problems. The ball finally spilling over to Warner, to the joy of the players and fans from San Juan North. They can smell their third final.
They certainly can. So they lead at the half by 2 goals to nil. Again, the goal scored by Chase and Warner. Let's go back down to Hans.
2-0 in favor of San Juan North. Some would say that they can smell that trophy right now. Omar, what do you have to say to San Juan North right now?
Well, you know, it's still 45 minutes to play plus added time, and Signal, you know, we come from Tobago, calls the team on the hill, because the only team in Tobago that's really on the hill. We always fight till the final whistle, always fight. Like our previous game against Goodwood, they thought they won 3 minutes extra time. Our centre back number 9, Shaki Carrington, climbed up volley top corner.
All right.
The game.
Yes, man. Well, tell me about what some of your players have done after the Secondary Schools Football League.
Well, some of them are fortunate enough to go on to play for TT Pro League teams like UW Connection or right in Tobago, 1976 FC Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or some of them might be called up to the national team like Jabari Francis, who've previously played in the Under-20 CONCACAF competition.
Well, here's the interesting thing. After the Secondary Schools Football League, there are many opportunities that young players take up. We show them to you in this feature brought to you courtesy Digicel.
Speak to any past SSFL player and they will tell you of their glory days on the field.
Oi.
Their most memorable moments. That time the ref made a bad call and their team lost, and the players who nobody could get the better of no matter how hard they tried. The SSFL allows student athletes to create memories. It gives them the platform to live out their dreams and provides an opportunity for them to showcase their talents. Many an SSFL player has been scouted and moved on to play in professional leagues and universities across the world. It is a competitive life path, but which one is not? The good thing is, the SSFL has a history of success. Great players like Dwight York, Russell Latapi, Stern John, and Kenwin Jones have all passed through the ranks of the SSFL and were able to make a name for themselves in the field of football. And while many young footballers who enter the SSFL dream to follow in their footsteps one day, many more dream to use the SSFL platform to propel them into a life of higher education. Every year, boys and girls are awarded scholarships to study abroad. It is just as competitive as securing a professional football contract. But having the grades and the skill to match makes it a little less daunting. And although the challenge is real, being a student athlete at the SSFL level prepares young men and women for university and college life.
It hasn't been tough adjusting from secondary school football to university. Academics wise, it's not so difficult neither, but they do stress on homework. You get deducted points and your score will go down, and you need to keep up your GPA, so they take homework very seriously.
I think that secondary school did a pretty good job of preparing us for this by having Intercol the way it was, because in America, the soccer games are on Wednesdays and Saturdays, which is basically what we play in secondary school football league. For most students, it shouldn't be too difficult because the quality of work that we do at the Caribbean is pretty high. So we can contend with the American education system. Most days, you're going to get home at late hours. You have training every single day, but it's a good experience and it helps build not just your maturity, but your character.
A career in football, whether professional or otherwise, requires a lot of work and dedication. It is not to be taken lightly. The SSFL offers student athletes the first taste of the pie. Many try to savor it for as long as possible, but for those who cannot, the SSFL is a stage upon which dreams are fulfilled and memories are made.
Congratulations to all the players that have moved on and moved up. And we want you to know that you have our full support in your careers. Josiah, you're back on the field right now. Y'all won the East Zone, and right now, y'all are actually smelling that National Intercol trophy right now. What is the vibe amongst the schoolmates?
Right now, we're just really laid back and we're waiting to reach the national finals.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we're looking to win that one.
Yeah, well, they said it from the start. Your coach said he's looking to win out everything. But during this year, quite a few people in East Trinidad and Tobago were affected by flooding. Any of your schoolmates were affected?
Well, 2 girls from our upper 6th class, they were affected because they not too long got a HGC house in the Greenville area and they lost nearly all the new appliances and whatnot.
Well, it affected some of your schoolmates, but it also affected some of the players in the SSFL. One of the players, Keyshawn St. Rose, St. Augustine Secondary forward, scored 13 goals, but also was seriously affected by the flooding. Here's his way more than football feature.
My name is Keyshawn St. Rose. I am from Locketa, Rima. I am 17 years of age.
Keyshawn growing up. Keyshawn was always humble, a bit quiet, but he had always loved football. Always running down anything that could roll. Could kick anything that could roll.
In the future, I would like to become a professional footballer. If that doesn't work out, I would like to open a business maybe. I would like to sell sporting equipment. Since I want to open a business if football doesn't work out, I get to know about the different types of businesses there, the benefits, the advantages, the disadvantages of certain types of businesses.
Well, it's an experience that I don't think I don't ever want to go through again. Well, I was not at home, but when I came home and I saw my stuff all over soaking in water, it was very traumatic for me. More or less rebuild, take one step at a time, day by day, and just try to rebuild, try to improve on everything that is in the community and around the community.
Family is my biggest inspiration because if it wasn't for them, I would not have become the person I become today. They gave me everything, food, clothing. The only way I could pay them back is by achieving everything there. Everything out there on the field is for them.
Keyshawn, I admire Keyshawn with his humbleness. He has always been a humble child. He has always been that type of child that you say yes. He would make me proud, and to this day, he continues to make me proud.
Pandemonium in the stands. They will celebrate long into the night. That is it. What a performance in extra time.
Well, second half action, just the first kick of the second half as Signal Hill down at the moment by 2-0. Sanwo North leading here, goals by Chase and Warner, and we'll have to see if they can turn it around in this the second half.
Well, they have a lot of work to do, Colin, if they have to turn this result around. Despite all the endeavor, energy, and of course, industry by the Signal Hill Secondary School team, you just don't see what the quality. There's not enough quality to trouble the Sanwo North team. And that's the reality, of course. Coach Mo in the picture there for San Juan North Secondary. He would be very happy with the result so far, not the way his team has played. But as I said, the quality is just not there for Signal Hill to trouble San Juan North Secondary. It's very hard to see this one turning around.
Well, it's going to be a throw for San Juan North. It's going to be Thomas with his long throws. Corner, the first corner of the second half. Brewster going across to take it. There is the Signal Hill bench. One or two smiles, but in general, looking very, very down. They came with a lot of expectation, having won the Tobago zone, looking to upset the odds. This is a good kick, and headed away, but the corner was low. It was sent there towards Garcia. He side-footed it, and luckily for goalkeeper Daniel, it was cleared away by Carrington.
Well, they've struggled all afternoon, Lawton, with the set plays and retakes by San Juan North Secondary. Should really trouble the Signal Hill rear guard.
Well, this time Brewster goes towards the far post. The heads go up. Thomas gets it back across the goal. Still, they're getting a little problems to get it away. Alfred was able to get it away, but here comes San Juan again. Yes, this is Thomas trying to weave his way through. He's been confronted by three. He's got no support. He still gets the crossover. It's not a good one, but he had no support, Brent, and he was weaving his way through the 2-3 players. We see a substitution, confirmation of a halftime substitution. It's a gift coming on for Laptis.
You're very kind, Colin, using the word weave. It looks like bulldozer his way into the box. Thomas.
Well, I was giving him a little bit of credit for that.
He did show some very
one or two touches.
Fledgy feet. Yeah, good skill by the big man.
So there is the San Juan North supporters.
They look like they got their Coca-Cola packages, Colin.
Tell you, it was a huge crowd on the final when San Juan played Trinities. A very, very good crowd. But of course, this is put over to the far post, and the shot comes. Daniel saving it. Now again, Signal Hill having problems to clear the ball.
They have big problems, and a lot of it is down to the initial clearance here. The ball travels across the box. Thomas slips and still able to get it on frame. Daniel puts it over. They're not attacking the initial ball into the box, and once it gets in there, it's a problem.
Well, this one again, another corner.
It's a little bit better. Well, it must be noted that San Juan North Secondary is a big team, big boys in there compared to Signal Hill. So they're going to have their work cut out for them, trying to keep their mark and making sure that the Signal Hill attackers don't get anything on the ball and put projected goalwards.
Well, here's Brewster. Another good corner. Headed away again. It's going to be another corner. So they are getting real problems to get these corners out of their box, out of their area. They just can't get it away. So Brewster, and he is mixing them up. Let's see. Again goes deep with it. Daniel this time comes out and is able to hold on to it. So finally, they'll get the ball upfield. This is Gift, who has come over on this left side. He's replaced Laptis. Now Laptis was playing wide on the right, but Gift has come into a wide position on the left. So very interesting move from Coach Jordan. And immediately Gift is fouling his man. Ronaldo Gift.
Here's the foul by Gift. It goes, he goes through the back of Cameron.
The ball sent over on the far side, and seems to be Sargent, who just couldn't get hold of it, and it's gone out. It's going to be a throw for, yes, it was Colin Sargent. This is Boyce. Trying to get it to Cameron. Gift is there. Can he keep it in? Sure he can. But he gives it right back to Duncan. Well, it went to Warner. Warner to Duncan. All the way to Garcia. Gives it to John. This is good play from Samoa North. Knocking it around. It's with Kareem John.
Yes.
Looking for Boyce.
That ball there. Just be a bit more patient. Try to string together a couple passes. Sometimes it's not always about going forward. See the smiling faces there, Morris and Co on the bench.
I think you mentioned that yesterday with, sorry, not yesterday, on Tuesday with St. Anthony's.
Correct.
When they were leading. You thought they were still just going helter-skelter rather than just take possession of the ball, knock it around, let the opponents chase after it for a while.
Yeah, and that's so important. It's good for game management perspective. It's also good to keep control of the football game. Once you have the football, Colin, the next team can't score. That is obvious. And that's what you want to do, especially when you're on top, especially when you have superiority from a quality perspective. You have to possess the ball and kill the sting and take the sting out of Signal Hill a bit, let them chase around, tire them out, and of course try to open them up at the same time.
Well, they're playing it wrong at the back there as John gave it to
It's
Duncan.
unnecessary, Colin.
Yeah,
That is unnecessary.
Again, he plays a long ball.
Just put the ball on the ground and keep possession.
Well, Brewster gets it to Cameron. Cameron looking to take on his man, comes inside nicely with it. Looking to get it to the far post. This is a big chance here, and Duncan saves it. Well, Chase should have gone. I thought, Brent, when he collected it, he should have put it into the back of the net. I think he lost control of it and tried to square it back, trying to get it back in field, but he should have gone for goal. It was a lovely ball from Cameron getting towards that far post.
But
Let's have a look at it.
Cameron with a good ball with the outside of the right foot. Well, I'm not sure outside, with the toe of the right foot. Punches it across Chase. Good touch initially. Looked like a little touch of hint of handball there. And then eventually he scuffs his shot. And it's just a bit disappointing there.
Boyce, as usual, giving chase. That's a good tackle in the end. Makes up for it is Carrington. But he was initially in trouble because it was a long ball over the top. He couldn't get it away. And Boyce, as usual, giving chase. And eventually Carrington had to put in a good tackle to get a throw, or to give away a throw. And it's going to be another long one from Kyle Thomas. Headed away, but it goes back to Thomas. Thomas wins a throw, ball coming off a gift.
Fancies himself as a dribbler, Colin. He seems to like to have his foray going forward. Most centre-backs are quite comfortable with smacking people about the field. He wants to add a bit more.
Signal Hill guilty of giving away the ball a little too often. Chase having the shot. Wasn't in no position to do that. This is Kareem John. Does well. That's it to Garcia. John. Goalkeeper John playing a good ball towards Duncan. Oh, that's a good tackle. And look at John was off his line. And I thought for one moment, James saw that and he looked up and then realized that he wasn't really in a position to take the shot. But he looked up and he saw Emmanuel John retreating, but wasn't in a position to take the shot. So he went across on the far side. Good looking ball inside. Samoa getting a little trouble in which to get away the ball. Comes to Brewster. To Cameron. To Boyce. That's a good ball. Brewster. Gets the cross in, but good tackle in the end. Coming from Gift. This ball is sent towards Alfred. Oh, he comes inside with it. In fact, that was Jordan coming inside of it, coming inside with it and gives it away. Boyce. Warner, who was played a part in the first goal with the assist and then scored the second, sends a good ball to Cameron. Let's see the cross. It comes over too close to the keeper. And a foul by Boyce on Daniel, captain against captain. And Boyce just helping him up and saying sorry about that guy. Yep, you're all right, Boyce.
He's going to have to check to make sure all parts are still there, Daniel. He's just ran into the money train.
You don't want to run into Boyce every day. Let's have a look at it.
Don't want to run into Boyce any day, period. Look at that. He comes in. It's a big kid. I'm sure he's going to feel that reverberation all the way through his Caribbean airline flights back to Tobago.
His Gift couldn't keep it in. Duncan with the throw gets the return ball. That's a little short. Ooh. Garcia did well. Duncan. Dixon. The ball to Kareem John. To Boyce. Ball is played out. It's going to be a corner yet again for San Juan North. It's going to be Isaiah Chase with the corner. Sends a good one. Headed away by Gift. This time it's going to be a right-sided corner, and no doubt Brewster is going to come over to take this one.
Hey! Come back here! Come back in here, Gift! Gift, come back in here! That ball is going to be over from there!
See the goalkeeper telling Gift to just, again, we see the corners being mixed up. Some are coming low and hard, some going to the far post. But it's obviously training ground routines that they've worked on.
Yeah, it's, the deliveries, of course, all sorts of problems for Signal Hill Secondary. It's a pity that San Juan North, and that's from their perspective, and be able to find the back of the net a little bit more frequent. And it's not down for the fact that they didn't have chances, Colin. They've had a lot of chances so far in this game. I came across Boyce's father yesterday, and he asked what the young man can do. And one of the biggest problems I think him and the rest of his teammates have is that they tend to, when they get in front of the goal, they don't seem to relax and place the ball into the back of the net. They always try to smash the football.
Well, I thought that was a foul on Chase, but not given by a referee. A substitution. Let's see who is making his way off. Seems to be Warner. Warner having an assist and then scoring the second goal. He's making his way off on the far side.
I think it's a mistake. It looks like a mix-up.
Yes, I'm not too sure. Yeah, it seems to be. It seems to not to be Warner. Let's have a look. Well, the referee has played in the meantime. He's restarted the game, because if someone knows not sure who is coming off, then he's got all right to restart the game.
Well, I'm very sure that San Juan North technical staff would have given the fourth official a document that states which player is coming off.
Exactly. I just couldn't understand what the confusion was all about. But we're just on the hour mark An hour and a half of this game gone. Samoa North, they lead by 2-0. This is a good ball to Cameron. Left it for Dixon. Dixon was fouled. Well, they're now going to make the substitution. Let's have a look. Who is going to be finally coming off? It seems to be 19, which is in fact Duncan. So Adrian Duncan is the man making his way off. And going on is Mitchell. Now Mitchell was the man who equalized for Samoa North against Trinity East. Came on as a substitute and equalized. Dixon has gone into the right back position and Mitchell has gone in an advanced position. But here's boys. Just couldn't control it.
That's good.
Oh, that's good defending. Dixon looking to go down the line with it. And it's going to be a throw for Signal Hill. Coach Jordan hoping that his team can get a goal to just put a little pressure on Samoa North. If they were to get a goal here, Brent, they certainly will be back into this game. At the moment, they are losing by 2-0. Samoa North leading Signal Hill 2-0. The goals scored by Isaiah Chase in the 21st and Darian Warner in the 30th. This is Warner. He's done a lot of work in the midfield. Of course, they lost Faria early, and Faria, the more experienced midfielder than Warner, but Warner has done well. He's defended well, he's gone into attack, he's created some really good plays, he's played a couple balls wide towards Cameron. I think he's been having a good game as Darian Warner in the middle of the field. There is Faria, of course, coming off with an injury.
I'm sure from a Samoa North perspective, they'd hope that doesn't affect them. If they do move on to the finals, he's a very important player for them.
Oh, it's for sure in that middle of the field, because Dixon has come into the middle, but Dixon has now retreated into a right back position. There's Dixon. It's it to Brewster. Brewster seems to have come more in the middle of the field now.
Yeah, both him and Warner seem to be occupying the
midfield role,
box-to-box role, number 6.
That's right. Whereas before, Brewster was more in an advanced position. That's a good ball. I like how Samoa now trying to knock it around, keep possession. Oh, the loose ball has gone to Mitchell.
He has to deliver.
Still Mitchell gets him over. This is Chase. Goal number 3. The second for Isaiah Chase of the afternoon, and the third for Samoa North. Easy as you like it. The substitute Mitchell providing the cross, and Chase coming in from the far side. Very similar to his first goal. Put it away.
Well, it's a mistake there by the defender. And bearing down on goal, Brewster, look at this for a cross. Squares it back. Intelligent play. Chase with the simplest of tasks to put it into the back of the net. But a lot of that, Colin, is some good wing play there. Chase celebrating from Mitchell. That's a good wing play, getting it down. What I liked about it from Mitchell, Colin, is that he didn't just bang it across the goal. He laid it backwards, aware that Chase was going to run onto it. That's good quality stuff, and I think now it's safe to say, Colin, that it's lights out for Signal Hill.
That's for sure. So Samoa North with a 1.75 in the National Intercol final, which will be played next week Tuesday.
I think it's more than a foot, Colin.
Well, that's why I said a 1.75. just to the ankles. Yes, I can't see at all Signal Hill getting back into this game. They think they're, because we just, 25 minutes to play, and it means they've got to score 3 goals. Oh, that's not a bad effort. Well, in the end, it was a terrible effort. It was very ambitious coming from the distance. And I thought for once Boyce had it on target, but it was woeful, really. It went towards the corner flag. Gift couldn't control it. So a throw.
Here it is, Colin. Look at it from another angle here. He lays it back, and there's Chase coming from into our screen, into the back of the old onion bag. No chance for Daniel. Simplest of tasks. A double by Chase so far. When you add things up, Colin, and you look at it from the big picture, of course. Let's see how this play progresses first.
Yes, this is Jordan. Oh, that's a good tackle from Garcia. And one here by Kareem John, looking to get Boyce away. Picked up by Brewster. Wide is Chase. Sit a little too straight. And Carrington comes across
He's
nicely.
done well, Carrington,
Yep.
for Signal. Looking at the big picture, of course, only 4 teams left in the competition now. You have to start, of course, starting to peg and put your pennies on which horse you think would come in as a champion. And San Juan North, as we've said before, quietly have been moving up, and it would be able to suggest that they're the ones to go on and win this one. As much as Naparima College must be the favorite, Colin.
Yes, you know, the thing with Intercol football, to me, there's sometimes there's no real favorite.
Is that you sitting on the fence, Colin?
You see, no, I'm not going to sit on the fence, Brent. You know me better than that. I'm not a fence sitter. I will fall off. Here is another chance for Chase. Oh! He's put it just wide. But in the end, the goalkeeper came well.
The keeper came well.
The keeper came well.
And he was brave.
Yeah, he was very, very brave. But another good ball pushed through towards Chase. Let's have a look at it.
Well, they're starting to get high and square. High and square, the Signal Hill backline. And Chase just couldn't find his bearings there. Eventually putting that one back pass across the goal. But Colin, yeah, of course, I think you've been sitting on the fence a bit.
I know those 2 guys. Brent,
at least you know something, Colin.
You've got one good-looking guy, and then they've got you. Brent, I don't know what's the problem here. But I tell you what, and don't accuse me from being from the north, please don't, and from the west. But I just think I like the look of St. Anthony's. I liked how they played against Trinity. I liked how they played against Carapachima. My only problem with them is, are they good enough defensively, which includes the keeper and the back line? Are they good enough to hold off if they get to the final, Sawo, and before that, if they're good enough to hold off Naparima, the strikers of Naparima?
Yeah, I share similar concerns. And again, St. Anthony's have done very well. Yeah, it put things into perspective. They finished 12th in a 15-team table, a very, very disappointing season for St. Anthony's College. But I think you quoted it right. They seem to have an extra vigor when it comes to the Intercol. Of course, the disappointments of the last 2 Intercols, it would have been in the finals twice before that.
And the league, I think,
and the league
finishing
12th.
Listen to me, at one stage, Brent, we were talking about them mathematically could have been relegated.
Yes, and that is something that St. Anthony's is not used to. And of course, they've been able to turn it around in the Intercol. But I think you hit the nail on the head, the quality defensively. And I am very aware of the fact that St. Anthony's College attack with numbers. They like to attack. They attack freely. As I said in the game on Tuesday, I am extremely concerned of that transition from offense to defense. When they do lose the ball, particularly against a team like Naparima with the likes of course, Ramdeen and Bramble, who are very, very astute at taking on and going on counterattacks.
Well, substitution here. George has come onto the field for Jack. So Kudel George, the man on. Yeah, that's my only worry about St. Anthony's, and I would think Coach Daniel will have to do some adjustment in terms of, does he play maybe a holding midfielder in front of his defense?
That's part of the problem. I agree, and of course, it comes down to the winners. They play a 4-3-3 system, and both wingers, the Mason on one side,
Manswell
on
and
the other
Williams.
side. Sorry, Manswell and Williams on both sides. They are all out attackers. So it's almost like they're playing three forwards. They don't get back defensively, which leaves them extremely thin in the middle of the park. And of course, eventually they don't shield the back four, which allows.
But you know, it very much reminds me of Liverpool from last year with their three forwards, Salah, Firmino, and Mane. And the big complaint was, once those guys lose the ball defensively, they were in problems.
Yeah.
And St. Anthony's, and I'm not saying for one, the quality, but I'm just talking system-wise.
Yeah, same problem.
Yeah. Here is Boyce. This
Got
could be
to
number
finish.
4.
This is it.
That's a good save, but Boyce should have scored.
He has to finish, Colin.
He should have scored.
Talked about it. He's offside.
Yep, definitely offside. But Boyce should have scored. There is the assistant referee.
There he is. He's offside. That's a good angle of it there. Of course, Mitchell standing offside. And here's an opportunity by Boyce. This is what we talked about with Boyce. He's worked a lot harder this season. He's been a lot more mobile. But you have to be, this is your bread and butter. You have to finish your chances. And he's left a lot of chances a begging, because when he gets in front of goal, Colin, he needs to relax and he needs to pick his corner and slide the ball into the net.
That's right.
Not taken away from Daniel, though. It's a good save.
Oh, it was. This is Dixon. Cross ball coming.
Oh, boy.
Mitchell.
This could be a goal.
This is Boyce.
That's better. Mobility again.
Well, finally, the ball coming across the face of the goal. Boyce at the far post just running onto it, and the Samoa fans are elated. So Boyce has scored his first goal. I'm not too sure of the celebration though.
Well, it looks like a cross between a dog and a lion.
A lion!
A Dion.
Oh, Dion! Thank you. Hey, you know what we should do? We should try to highlight, Brent, some of the celebrations throughout the season. They have not been all that great, I tell you. But a poor header.
Poor header here. It finally comes down to Boyce with the simplest of the. Look at that. 3 yellow shirts, all looking at the ball go across the goal and expecting Daniel to get there first. Poor header. Look at the 3 yellow shirts. First of all, the defender not close enough to shut down the ball, and the markers just allowed Boyce to walk in. Shocking defending by Signal Hill. This could get ugly, Colin.
Chase! Getting a little selfish there. It's going to be a goal kick.
And that's a brilliant shot of the production room.
I know the gentleman in the middle there with the receding hairline.
Well,
or is it lack of hair? The gentleman with the lack of hair.
But look at the machinery in there, Colin.
That's right.
And the type of investment that Sportsmax have been making in school football.
That's the engine room, isn't it?
It's the engine room. We have a couple college coaches here in the stands as well. And if you speak to some of them, Colin, they would tell you that they've been getting snippets from some of the production that Sportsmax team have been putting out there, allowing some of these young student athletes the opportunity to get scholarships overseas. And that's you have to tip your hat out for Sportsmax and, of course, by extension, Digicel and the rest of the sponsors, Coca-Cola, Shell, and First Citizens for the investment they've been making in our young people.
Yes. We just have a substitution there. Warner has come off. We'll give you confirmation who's gone on for Warner. There is the man who has gone on. It's Joseph. Emeka Joseph has gone on for Warner. Of course, there
Coca-Cola.
is the Coca-Cola girls, Brent.
Well, I'm still waiting my Coca-Cola package.
Your Coca-Cola package?
We got one last
No, well,
year.
I would love to get a Coca-Cola hamper. Forget the package. Let's deal with hampers, Brent.
Yes.
But in the last quarter of this game, a game that Samoa North totally in control now. And you've got to think that, who knows, they may very well score another. So 75 minutes gone. And this is Signal Hill getting a free kick. Oh, that's not a bad move, but again, goalkeeper Emmanuel John hasn't done very much here. So just Samoa North leading by 4 goals to nil. Of course, the goals coming from Chase with a double, Warner and Boyce. That's the 4 goals that have been scored against Signal Hill. And Emmanuel John in the Samoa goal has had, can't remember him, except the shot that went on to the top of the crossbar, the deflection. He's had very little to do.
He's really been a passenger, John. The only thing he's missing is his slippers and newspaper, maybe, Colin, and
a cup of coffee.
A cup of coffee, a cup of Coca-Cola.
Oh yes, a cup of Coca-Cola, I like that.
He's really been a passenger here. And it's not necessarily a slight at Signal Hill, but it's a huge gulf in qualities, it must be said, between the two teams. And again, Samoa North, 3rd place finishers in the Premiership. And
Mitchell chasing this one. Mitchell gets the better.
This could be trouble.
Let's see, he's seen Boyce there. He's gone for goal himself. Well, should have got that one over. Boyce was at the far post.
He had it the first opportunity. Mitchell gets it here, over the top. Gibbs doesn't deal with it at this moment. Now put himself out to the play, tries to get back. He should have played it across there. Instead he tries to dribble inside, and he still had a second opportunity.
Look at Boyce
to
standing
put it all
free
across the road, and his captain, Boyce, knows that he was missed out on an opportunity of a second goal as Mitchell went for glory there.
So Brewster with the corner. 13 corners to 1. That just shows the gulf in the difference between the teams. This one goes to the far post. Finally, it's cleared away. Chase has possession. Gets it towards Dixon. And I tell you, Brent, I'm concerned. I've been concerned over the last 2 seasons, and this is the 3rd season. I'm concerned about the Tobago schools.
Something's just not happening over there, and it's hard for us to say here. We are in Trinidad, of course. We'll hear the Chinese whispers as it relates, but it's definitely something is not right. They have not stayed up in this division at all in any of the years that has been in premonition.
Signal Hill has gone down. This is very Signal Hill. Speyside
has gone down. Now, this year, Bishops.
It's been really, and you know, it's going to be interesting. If here goes Mitchell again.
He was
Boyce, he is offside.
Very good call. Because I thought he was offside. The linesman took a little while to, of course, raise his flag, but Mitchell needs to look across the line. There it is again. That's an excellent shot of it. Look at Mitchell all alone. And that's poor by Mitchell, because he should be looking across the line and making sure that he's not advanced of any yellow shirts. He could have choose any one of 4 of the yellow shirts. There's a smile by the young man. Told me he's the leading goal scorer in the Form 1 competition.
Well, another substitution, this time for Signal Hill. Colin Sargent is coming off. Can't understand why they're taking Colin off. But Adams is making his way on. Dareem Adams. Mitchell has got some speed about him, I tell you. In the meantime, 2 players are down, obviously. clash of heads. So in the final 10 minutes of this game, and Samoa North booking their place in the Coca-Cola National Intercol Final for the third time.
In a row.
That's
Three
right.
times in a row.
Lost last year, of course, the Shiva boys in what was a very, very good final.
Yeah. They won the year before that. It's a program that's been in the up, that's for sure, Samoa North. They've done well. But going back to the problems of Tobago, Colin, and the viewers must understand that Tobago has always produced good schoolboy football teams. It's not that that we're suggesting in any stretch of the imagination that they've been poor throughout. They've actually been very dominant. There were years that Signal Hill were very dominant at the national level. They've produced, of course, Dwight York is just to name one, of course the most notable one. They've produced several national team players and they've produced several national titles.
That's right.
And so you have to ask the question, and Colin's rightfully asking the question, what has gone wrong? And we've pointed to the travel, but I think it's more than the travel.
It has to be more than
the travel.
I mean, Brent, you look at the organization, you look at the shape, you look at the basic skill, and somehow I'm not seeing that. I'm not. You've always talked about Tobago players being tough, being aggressive, and that's one thing. That's one thing. But what I'm talking about here is their organization, their skill on the ball, and you're just not seeing that.
Oh, you're not seeing the type of quality that we're used to from Tobago teams, and it must be noted. And of course,
but here's boys.
Again.
Let's see. Can he finish? No.
He's over the bar. Better, Colin. He has to do better in those situations. He is a player I believe is going to play at the next level, whether it be collegiate, whether it be professionally, whether it be at a national level. I think he has the chance and the capabilities of playing at the next level. He's worked very hard. He's a tough customer. He makes good runs. But when you come into these situations, you have to at least hit the target, make the keeper safe, or put it in the back of the net. And I would like to see a breakdown of the goals to chances ratio that he has, because he works ever so hard to get himself into those situations. Just needs to relax in front of goal and put it into the back of the net.
This is Chase, the man who scored a brace for Samoa North. Getting it back to John, Kareem John. Good ball there, and of course Mitchell is going to put the defense under some pressure.
Some more pressure.
Yeah, and there was that was Jordan, not able to clear it properly, and he's given away yet another corner.
Well, one of the things, again, as we see the Coca-Cola girls, one of the things that we talked about, Colin, is as it relates to Tobago, and it must be noted, is that a lot of the players back then came out of the Bertil Sinclair coaching school. Of course, Bertil Sinclair, who's coached Dwight York and several of the players coming out of Tobago. And I would want to suggest that maybe that because the coaching school is not as prominent as it used to be, meaning it's not as active as it used to be, maybe the player pool has been watered down and divided a bit more. And Signal Hill, maybe back then, used to be a representation of all that was good in Tobago. And now you may be seeing flashes of it.
Well, Dixon couldn't control it. The ball just bounced awkwardly for him. It's a good turn, gets it all the way back to Kareem John. Emmanuel John always seems available, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and I like his distribution as well.
Onside.
That's offside, isn't it?
I'll be close. I'd like to see that one again. So I felt like he was being played onside. But he's gotten all right so far. Look at it here again, Colin. Yeah, he is offside. That's a good call by the linesman.
And again, we see the player on the far side, Brent. He's facing the play. They've got to learn that. If you're wide, you're facing the play. You need to adjust your situation. It just tells me that you're not looking across the line. Well, we're in the final 5 minutes of regulation time. I'll tell you one thing, we're not going to go to penalty kicks with this one. So here comes Signal Hill trying to put something together to at least get a consolation goal, but that's going to be comfortable to Emmanuel John. Well, of course, Brent, there are some of the Tobago girls, the Signal Hill girls, all wearing A. Adams on the back. Of course, number 7, a fellow teammate who passed away in unfortunate circumstances. And they are obviously playing for her, and they've dedicated their final, getting into the final to her.
And of course, all of the 7 is not used throughout both teams, both the male and the female. As well. Tragic circumstances.
Oh,
Adam, of course, a national youth team player as well, Colin, women's player, national ladies player. Her life, of course, taken away, snuffed out at a very early age. And it's good to see that her teammates and the school as well, of course, remembering her in everything that they do. Despite the tragedy, I'm sure that it would have really allowed the Signal Hill School and the island of Tobago, for that matter, to really rally around the family of Adams and all that's good around them. It's truly sad, but as you mentioned, the girls team are in the final. The Signal Hill girls team, they won earlier today.
And obviously that is some sort of motivation.
Yes, of course.
Because I would think the coach would be saying, hey, you've got to play for her, you've got to play it for her, you've got to do it.
And they would know it as well.
Oh, of course.
The players would know it as well. And they want to do it for her. It's a pity, of course, that the boys team couldn't do it for her as well. Sanborn North moving on, but the girls are in the final.
That is Brewster looking to get Skipper Boyce going, but it's hit a little beyond him. Oh, he does well.
He does very well, almost.
Yep, he hasn't been able to keep it in. So it's going to be a goal kick. So just about 2 minutes left in this game and added on time. Expect about at least 3 minutes of that.
I think Chase, probably man of the match, Colin.
Isaiah
in
Chase,
man of the match discussions. 2
yeah,
goals.
I would think so. Took his goals well, played well wide on the left, sent his crosses in. He did what was asked of him. And he took the 2 goals. And of course, here it goes, boys. Chase is looking for his hat-trick.
Oh boy.
He opened the scoring for Sanborn North, got them on their way to this victory. So I would think Isaiah Chase would be given nominated for man of the match. He's going to take a corner. Plays it short. Let's see the cross coming from Chase. Not bad. That's a good ball. Goal number 5.
That is better.
Another very good cross, though. The cross made that. Now it's going to Skipper Boyce, but you've got to give credit to Isaiah Chase. It was a cross ball that basically hung in the air, and Boyce took it on his chest. No one came to put in the tackle, and Boyce just put it calmly away from the keeper.
Well, it was a short corner. Eventually it comes to Chase. Look at this. 4 green shirts all alone in the box, and Boyce with the simplest of tasks to slip it into the back, and that's a lot better by the big man. Look at the composure, Colin. We talked about it. He gets his laces through the ball, make sure it stays low, and puts it past Daniel. That is very, very good. And I would like to see more of that from him, because I rate the work rate that he puts in, and I believe he's a quality player. But he plays a striking position. And when you are a striker, you have to score goals. That's the beautiful sunset in Malabar Arima, Colin.
It is, actually. It's a nice area up here.
Being a person from the west like you, I know you haven't spent a lot of time here at all. I'm surprised you even crossed the lighthouse in Port of Spain.
Well, I did. I crossed it went as far as Saint-Ouen. Chamflair. But once I got to Chamflair, that's it.
That's where the nosebleed comes in.
Turn back.
The nosebleed comes in for you.
Well, we're in the final 4 minutes now. The referee has added 4 minutes on to a minimum of 4 minutes added on time. And Sanborn North comfortably leading here. And I must say, Brent, this was expected.
Yeah, it was expected.
I think Samoa North started as overwhelming favourites.
Yeah, Signal Hill started the game correctly. They tried to play football, but we talked about the quality again, and the quality started to show up. And that is the difference here this afternoon, is that they did not play particularly well. And of course, the quality shone through.
Yes, it's fallen apart for them in the second half. I think a little bit of tiredness started to set in. Got another short corner.
I think Thomas fancies himself for a goal, Colin.
I thought he would have given it back to Chase, but Chase is in an offside. No, Chase, poor Chase, he didn't know what to do because he wasn't sure what Thomas was doing. And he just stood there watching Thomas, and he was in an offside position. But the last time the short corner worked, and I thought they would have done it again. But Thomas didn't get the crossover. So just about 2 minutes of time left as Brewster. He's going to try and get on the score sheet. Oh, he does well. He's got Chase wide. Oh, he plays it here to Chase.
That's a poor
that's
ball.
not a good cross this time from Isaiah Chase. Should have done better, but he did it. Hit it with his left foot. And he tends to bring everything back on that right foot of his. Even though he's playing on that left side, he's very much right-footed.
I know the boys from Signal Hill would be disappointed in the result, but it was always going to be a tough task for them. This is a very, very good San Juan North team.
It's good defending.
It's very good defending.
It's going to be a throw for Signal Hill. So just a minute left of this encounter. A walk in the park, really, for the East Zone champions. Should we say a walk in the Larry Gomes Stadium for the San Juan boys. And Brent, it could so easily have been different here today. 7 minutes to go against Trinity East and a lapse in the defense, and San Juan North equalized with just 7 minutes to go. The substitute, Christian Mitchell, came on and saved their season. Good distribution again by Emmanuel John. This is Boyce. Mitchell sends the crossover. Chase is going to come onto it. Oh, he was just waiting. Chase sends it back to Mitchell. Oh, that's it. The 4 minutes have been up, and it's San Juan North marching in to the Coca-Cola National Intercol Final. They will await the winner tomorrow of semi-final number 2. And Naparima will come up against St. Anthony's in what should be a real cracker of an encounter. And there goes the Caribbean Airlines plane. Hold on, guys. Signal Hill is coming. What's going on? So it's going to be a real encounter tomorrow. Real good encounter. But an easy game here, Brent. An easy win for San Juan North.
A disappointed performance by Signal Hill Secondary, but the golfing class was shown here this afternoon, and San Juan North, despite not playing at their best, they showed their quality and they showed their class. And of course, it's a team that finished third on the table, and they were able to overcome and outmuscle the Signal Hill Secondary team by 5-0. Flattering scoreline at some extent, but San Juan North Secondary are well preserved moving into the third national final, and one must think that they are one of the favorites to win this championship.
They must be considered one of the favorites. Let's have a look at it. A lopsided start, Brent. in all departments.
In all departments, and of course, the top one shows it. 19 goal attempts by San Juan, 6 by Signal Hill. 13 of those 19 by San Juan on target, 3 by Signal Hill. They never threatened goalkeeper John at all. And look at the stat at fouls,
14
11
corners to 1.
and 5. And of course, the corners dictate the dominance shown here by San Juan North, a team that I believe played in second gear for most of this afternoon, and they have gone ahead and put themselves into the final.
Certainly have put themselves into the final. So it's a comfortable victory for San Juan North by 5 goals to 0 against Signal Hill. A double from Chase, a double from Ronaldo Boyce, and the other item being scored by Darian Warner. Easy victory for San Juan, 5 goals to 0. Let's take a break and come back here at the Larry Gomes Stadium.
Pandemonium in the stands. They will celebrate long into the night. That is it. What a performance in extra time.
Coca-Cola Intercol National Semi-Final #1 as the sun sets in Larry Gomes Stadium. San Juan North Secondary School have scored 5 goals, and Signal Hill has not been able to find the back of the net. As the season comes to an end, Omar, you're the assistant manager / student manager of the team. What would you like to say?
Well, no, not every season gonna be great, because even in the Tobago zone, we didn't have a great season. We came fourth.
Yeah.
The Tobago zone champs is the only highlight of our season, but you know, it have next year. We gonna come again harder, new team, same coach, even better.
Even better, he says. Josiah, obviously a result that you would have wanted. Could you have predicted 5?
Yes, I was not expecting anything less.
Very confident young man. Let's take it upstairs for the match highlights.
Well, very confident young man indeed. 5 goals to 0. But let's have the Signal Hill started well. Brent had a number of free kicks, and that one deflection hit the top of the crossbar, and we always felt somewhere along they might get a goal.
Well, here comes the first one by San Juan North. Back Chase, poor marking in the middle of the box. Chase with the simplest of tasks to tuck it into the back of the net. The good start by Signal Hill Secondary was aided by the poor and lackadaisical approach by San Juan North, but they fixed that quite quickly. And Warner stabs this one into the back of the net. Daniel with absolutely no chance ricochets and ruffles the old onion bag. 2 goals to 0 to the joy of the San Juan North secondary fans and of course the coaching staff. They were seeing and smelling their 3rd final on a row. Thomas with a chance. Daniel pushes over, and by that time Signal Hill Secondary were at 6 and 7s and were always chasing shadows. The golfing quality started to show despite the numerous opportunities and missed chances by San Juan North. They kept themselves well into this one because of the poor mistakes by the Signal Hill Secondary defense, and Chase helping himself to the second one, tapping it into the back of the net. Daniel have no chance. Good work down the line by Mitchell, allowing Chase with the easiest of chance to put it into the back of the net. And by that time, Signal Hill Secondary would have been hearing the engine jets of the Caribbean Airlines heading back to Crown Point, Tobago. Boyce, with that one, again missing. Poor clearance.
He should have done better,
Should have done a lot better. Poor clearance. And Boyce, again, look at that. 3 yellow shirts in the box. Very much indicative of the type of display by Signal Hill. And again, the poor celebration there by Boyce. The lion mixed with a dog. Boyce helping himself to his second. And by that time, the final was right there in their grasp.
Yep. So 5-0. Let's go back to Hans. He's got the man of the match with him.
The man of the match, Isaiah Chase, congratulations to you. He's a lower 6 student. Now, how are you balancing school and football and even managing to get the man of the match?
Hard work. But you need work after hours, late in the night and thing, as go home and do my work and thing. And after I come for training the next day, ready and prepared.
Hard work, it always pays off. Congratulations to you again, Mr. Isaiah Chase. Right now we welcome coach of Signal Hill Tobago, Sharon Jordan. Coach, what do you have to say to your players today? I mean, it's the end of the season now, 5-0 loss, but still Tobago's own champs. What do you have to say to your players and the supporters?
Well, I want to say to the supporters and the whole of Tobago that this game is a really new experience for the Tobago's Signal Senior Comprehensive team.
Yeah.
I think many of them are just coming out from the under-14. We have 2 players from last year who played Sawa Secondary.
Yeah.
So it means, therefore, relatively it's a new team. And I think that indeed that we started the game well. I think that we put up a good fight. But I think that we didn't do enough in order to hold out Sawa Secondary School.
All right.
It is a learning experience. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Coach Jordan. Moving across to Coach Jerry Moore, he said you'll take it 1 match at a time. You did say that, 1 match at a time. So moving forward, how do you prepare to face either St. Anthony's College or Naparima College in the national finals?
And the same way, our goal every year is to play in the first game of the season and the last game of the season. Fortunately, last 2 years, we were able to do that. So we're just motivated by wanting to win and doing well, but we show a certain level of consistency also in the program. So we prepare the normal way. We don't change much.
And interestingly enough, there's a heavy focus as much as on the football as on the academics right now in Sawa North.
Of course. I mean, yeah, student athlete, but yeah, student first, so we focus on that a lot, especially coming from Sawa North.
Thank you very much, Coach Jerry Moore. We wish you the best moving forward. Sawa North Secondary have booked their spot in the Coca-Cola National Intercol Final. Tomorrow, we bring you the action of 2 oppositional points. We're talking about the North Zone winners going up against the South Zone winners. St. Anthony's College battle the boys of Naparima College. Who will come out on top? We bring you the action tomorrow. Till next time, my name is Hans Devines. Thank you so much for watching. We want to thank our sponsors Coca-Cola, Shell and Digicel for making it possible. We leave you with some of today's action.